This is TWiT.
Man, it was so funny because the first initial thoughts as the Galaxy Fold started to go out to reviewers like Steve Kovac and Marques Brownlee, Joanna Stern at the Journal, and Dieter Bohn, Mark Gurman at Bloomberg. They started the first day. They go, "Oh, I get it. I get it. This is exactly what you want a phone to be: simple and small for the basic stuff, but you can open it up and get a nice 7+ inch screen." That was day one. Day two, it broke. I mean, for different reasons. So Marques Brownlee and Stephen Kovac removed a plastic coating on top of it, which I don't blame them for doing. When I got my Galaxy S10 and many Samsung phones, they have a pre-installed screen protector. I don't like screen protectors, so I peel them off. I did that on my S10. Turns out that wasn't a screen protector. That was
well, it was in a way.
Well,
It
literally protected the screen. Here's iFixit's article about this. It was necessary. See, the problem with flexible screens, they have to be OLED screens. They're very fragile, so they have a layer. They're plastic, so they have a layer of plastic on top of it. But they're also sealing it, and this is the other problem with the Galaxy Fold, according to iFixit. When you close it, when you see that hinge, you can see that that the screen is not fully sealed. And that was the problem Dieter Bohn had at The Verge. He said, we think what happened, when we take pictures for our reviews, we use a little molding putty underneath the device to hold it in place or hold it up. We think that got into the hinge, and then that caused a protrusion on the screen. In any event, when you send out, I don't know what they sent out, a couple of dozen, we didn't get one, but I know a lot of people did. In fact, Renee Ritchie said they had 2 at Mobile Nations. When you send out, say, a couple of dozen phones, and half of them get broken in the first 2 days, you know you have a problem. Samsung said, okay, we're not going to launch that phone Friday. We're going to step back and figure out what's going on. So,
I wonder how many they made.
I was impressed because Samsung originally was like, we're not delaying the launch. And then like a few hours later, they're like, oh, yeah, okay.
They had to.
Well, that's what everyone, because like, that's what I thought. I was like, wow, this is, it's pretty
You don't want
bad.
the Note 7 thing all over again, right?
No.
Well,
They had to recall every single Note 7.
Yeah, these phones weren't blowing up, but yeah, it was still bad.
You would still have to recall it if you found
You
it.
would,
They had to
especially
brick
at
them
$2,000
to stop people
a
from
pop.
using them.
Yeah. So AT&T representatives say June 13th. So it's not that long. It's a month and a half later. Samsung says, no, we haven't set a date. But AT&T is adamant. So I think it's reasonable that AT&T thinks it's going to be then, but Samsung wants to reserve the right not to ship it if they think there'll be any problem. Saved me $2,000. That's all I'm saying, because I was going to go into T-Mobile on Friday and buy one, because I wanted to talk about it, and I was kind of excited because it is the first really new form factor for a phone we've seen in a while.
I was super excited. I was so bummed when I started seeing this. I was like,
Yeah, me too.
I really want to see, like, again, new form factor. And I really thought they had it right, I guess. I was like, Samsung wouldn't put out something that wasn't, engineered and considered. This isn't like, what was Andy Rubin's company? I can't think of it right now.
Essential.
This is Samsung. They know what they're doing. But no.
Well, and that is a bit of a question. I mean, how could you not see this coming? Did you never let it out of the lab? Didn't you give it to employees? Apple does this. We know because employees have lost phones. Other companies do it to take into the wild and use for several months before you ship the phone. They must have. So it's puzzling.
Is it just because the cover was taken off by people?
No.
Or no? Okay.
There was another one too.
There were
you
several.
either take the
I thought there were a
cover-
lot.
Joanna Stern started to peel hers back at the Wall Street Journal and then said, maybe not. Marques Brownlee and Stephen Kovac said, yes, we took it off. But Dieter Bohn did not, and his still got damaged.
And Mark Gurman didn't.
Mark Gurman didn't. So
Okay.
there's a problem. And the problem is probably that stuff can get in under the OLED screen. It is super fragile. And that's that's kind of like superfragilocalistic expialidocious. It's super fragile, and you don't want anything to get in there. And so one of the things Samsung said initially is, well, we're going to put a big warning on there. We should have told these guys, or there's a debate about whether they told the reviewers not to. But we're going to make sure that everybody who gets this phone knows, don't remove that. That's part of the screen.
By the way, I mean, so does it lock open?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, when you're working with it?
I don't think
Well,
so.
when you want to watch a movie or something, do you have to hold both sides open? I always wondered that.
I don't know. And then I also read a number of commentaries about the fact that everybody has a different way of closing it. There's no obvious way of closing it.
Don't you
do
just
it from
fold
the
it
outside,
like a book?
or
Well, some people might do it like that. Some people, and Samsung, when they they have its testing machine, does it in the testing machine. It's even pressure along the entire, the machine is not a good. It's not. People are not going to do that. They're going to whack it closed, right?
Yeah,
Look at how if you have a case like I have here, which is a case of cover. There's lots of ways of closing that case, and I probably use all of them. If I'm holding the phone like that, I might do that. So these test machines probably didn't catch this potential problem. In any event, I think Samsung, I feel bad for Samsung. I've said this before. I love the S10 Plus. It's the best phone I've ever had. It's just incredible. And I was really hopeful. And I was willing to set, of course, I have a budget for this. This is my job. But I was willing to put aside $2,000 to get this phone. I was
willing to support you spending $2,000 just to see.